America is cracking under the weight of its own dream. And nowhere is that more visible than in Texas, a state once defined by growth, now haunted by what that growth costs. For decades, Texas stood as proof that you could still make it here. Low taxes, affordable homes, and booming jobs. It was the last place the middle class could breathe. But in 2025, even Texas is running out of room. According to the 2025 Austin Echo Homelessness Report, 3,238 people were found without shelter on a single night this January, a 36% surge from the year before. The city's median home price now hovers around $500,000, while the average renter pays $1,662 per month just to stay put. Echo's report warns that rising housing costs are the single biggest driver of homelessness in Central Texas, linking the city's affordability crisis directly to its growing unhoused population. In Dallas, the warning signs echo just as loudly. Culture Map Dallas's 2025 cost of living study found that a single adult now needs $95,930 a year to live comfortably, far above what many working households earn. The median home price has climbed toward $450,000, and rent for a one-bedroom apartment averages nearly $1,400. Meanwhile, a statewide analysis published by the Houston Chronicle in June 2025 revealed that to maintain a comfortable lifestyle in Texas, a single adult now needs $90,771 annually, and a family of four needs over $204,000. That's not luxury. That's survival. Texas used to be the escape, the place you moved to when California and New York got too expensive. Now it's the mirror, reflecting the same crisis. Rising costs, stagnant wages, and a vanishing sense of stability. Economists call it affordability erosion. But for millions of Texans, it's something simpler. The realization that working hard no longer guarantees you can stay where you live. The American dream hasn't disappeared. It's just getting priced out. And Texas is the warning. Welcome to EstateScope, the channel where we expose the hidden forces shaping today's real estate markets. From climate risk to insurance pullouts to overlooked government policies, we break down what's really behind the headlines and what it means for your investments, your home, and your future. If you're into real estate with a twist of investigative reporting, hit like, tap subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss a story that could impact where you live, what you buy, or how you build. Now, let's get into what might be one of the most overlooked real estate catastrophes of the decade. Number 1. Austin, Texas. Austin was built on innovation, a tech hub powered by optimism. But in 2025, the city that once symbolized opportunity now measures its success in survival. According to the 2025 point-in-time count by the Ending Community Homelessness Coalition, ECHO, 3,238 people were found without stable housing in Austin/Travis County on a single night in January. Of those, 1,577 were unsheltered, and 1,661 were sheltered. The first time the sheltered number has exceeded the unsheltered in this community. That represents a 36% increase compared with the last full count. The cost of living and housing pressures are significant. In Austin, the cost of living index sits around 129.1, meaning the city runs about 29% more expensive than the U.S. average. Average rent is approximately $1,662 per month, and the median home price is near $500,842. Even for professionals earning the city's median household income of about $91,000, the math is no longer working. A single adult now needs over $101,587 per year to live comfortably in Austin, according to a 2025 Culture Map analysis. The Texas Comptroller's 2025 Housing Affordability Challenge report confirms home prices across the state have risen nearly 40% since 2019, while wage growth barely moved. In Austin, that means the middle class isn't just under pressure, it's slowly losing ground. Neighborhoods built on creativity and growth are now defined by displacement. People aren't leaving because they want to. They're leaving because they have no choice. Austin hasn't lost its identity. It's losing its balance. Houston, Texas. Houston has always been the city of second chances, where hard work could buy you a home, and ambition could build a future. But by 2025, that promise is being tested harder than ever. According to the Houston Chronicle's 2025 Cost of Living in Texas report, a single adult now needs $90,771 per year to live comfortably in Houston. For a family of four, that number jumps to $204,922 annually, a threshold that now sits well beyond what most middle-class families can reach. Median household income in the metro is roughly $73,000, leaving a gap wide enough to swallow stability whole. The Texas A&M Real Estate Center's 2025 Houston housing market update shows median home prices hovering around $359,000, up over 40% since 2019. While property taxes in Harris County average between 2.3 and 2.7%. The combination of higher interest rates, insurance spikes, and new flood zone remapping has pushed many families into financial triage. Insurance premiums alone are up 42% since 2023, a reaction to record-setting hail and flooding losses across the Gulf Coast. Even renting is no longer an escape. The Zillow Rent Index 2025 lists Houston's median rent at $1,481, while Apartment List's 2025 data shows a one-bedroom apartment averaging nearly $1,320 per month. That means a household must earn close to $56,000 per year just to stay within the 30% affordability threshold, a line most working-class residents have already crossed. The pressure is showing. Local data from the Coalition for the Homeless of Houston-Harris County found 3,661 people experiencing homelessness in early 2025, a steady increase from the year before, reversing years of decline. Their annual briefing notes that housing affordability has become the primary barrier to rehousing, even for those with full-time jobs. Houston's story is no longer just about energy and expansion. It's about endurance. Families who once bought homes in suburbs like Katy, Cypress, and Pearland now find themselves one insurance renewal away from insolvency. And while cranes still tower over downtown, the foundation beneath the middle class is cracking. Houston isn't collapsing. It's recalculating. A city forced to confront the limits of growth when affordability runs out of road. Number 4. San Antonio, Texas. For years, San Antonio was the exception, the Texas city where affordability still seemed possible. But by 2025, even the last affordable city is starting to buckle under the same weight that hit Austin, Dallas, and Houston before it. According to the San Antonio Board of Realtors, SABOR, 2025 housing market report, the median home price in the metro area reached $311,000. Up nearly 28% since 2020. That may still sound modest compared to Austin's $500,000 median, but incomes haven't kept pace. The U.S. Census Bureau's 2025 American Community Survey, ACS, shows median household income in San Antonio at roughly $63,200, barely a 7% increase in 5 years, far below inflation. The Houston Chronicle's 2025 Cost of Living report estimates that a single adult now needs $82,120 per year to live comfortably in San Antonio. That's a steep jump from pre-pandemic levels, when $60,000 could still buy stability. For many families, the math has turned on its head. Housing now eats up nearly 37% of total household income compared to the 30% affordability benchmark. Renters are feeling the squeeze even more. The Apartment List Rent Report, May 2025. places San Antonio's median one-bedroom rent at $1,229 and two-bedroom units at $1,474. Both record highs for the metro. Meanwhile, property taxes in Bexar County hover around 2.5%, and insurance premiums have climbed 33% since 2022, partly due to an increase in severe weather claims across South Texas. The strain is visible beyond the spreadsheets. The 2025 South Alamo Regional Alliance for the Homeless, SARA, point-in-time count found 3,184 people experiencing homelessness in Bexar County, a 17% increase year over year. Their report warns that rising rents and stagnant wages have erased San Antonio's affordability advantage. For decades, San Antonio was marketed as the city where you could still build a life, buy a home, raise a family, and retire without the pressure of big city costs. In 2025, that promise feels more fragile than ever. Neighborhoods that once drew first-time buyers are now lined with for rent signs, and longtime residents face rising property assessments that threaten to push them out. San Antonio isn't just losing affordability. It's losing the very thing that made it different. The city's warmth remains, but its financial breathing room is vanishing. The last affordable city is running out of time. Number 5. Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth used to be the quiet powerhouse, the city that grew without losing its soul. Its mix of old Texas charm and new Texas opportunity made it the metro's steady anchor. But in 2025, even Fort Worth's balance is breaking. According to the Texas A&M Real Estate Center's 2025 Tarrant County Housing Snapshot, the median home price in Fort Worth climbed to $364,900, up 8% from 2024, and nearly 45% higher than in 2019. At the same time, the U.S. Census Bureau's 2025 American Community Survey puts median household income at $72,400, a figure that hasn't kept pace with housing or insurance costs. For many middle-class families, what used to feel like cushion now feels like quicksand. The 2025 Apartment List Rent Report lists Fort Worth's median one-bedroom rent at $1,309, up 6% year over year, while two bedrooms average $1,542. Property taxes in Tarrant County average about 2.37%, and home insurance premiums have risen 31% since 2023. According to the Texas Department of Insurance's 2025 Market Trends Brief, that means a family paying $2,400 a month in 2021 now faces closer to $3,900 for the same home, before utilities, fuel, or childcare. The strain is spreading into every corner of the local economy. The North Texas Housing Affordability Index, released May 2025, dropped below 100 for the first time since 2011, meaning the median income family in Fort Worth can no longer afford the median-priced home. The same report warns that housing costs in Tarrant County are decoupling from income growth at an accelerating pace. Renters, too, are being squeezed. The National Low-Income Housing Coalition's 2025 Out of Reach study found that a Tarrant County renter now needs to earn $28.75 an hour to afford a modest two-bedroom apartment, about $59,000 a year, just to stay below the 30% rent-to-income threshold. Meanwhile, the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition's 2025 point-in-time count recorded 2,184 people experiencing homelessness, up 11% from the prior year. Their report concludes that the surge in rent-burdened households is driving new homelessness faster than local rehousing efforts can respond. Fort Worth's skyline still gleams. Cranes dotting the horizon, coffee shops full, highways expanding. But below that growth, the numbers tell a different story. The city that once represented stability is now the cautionary tale of growth without cushion. Progress kept coming. Affordability didn't. Number 6. El Paso, Texas. For decades, El Paso stood apart from the Texas housing boom, a border city known for affordability, community, and resilience. But in 2025, even this stronghold of stability is starting to strain under the weight of rising costs and stagnant wages. According to the Paso del Norte Institute for Economic Studies 2025 housing report, the median home price in El Paso reached $228,700, up 19% since 2020. That's a modest figure compared to Austin or Dallas, but the problem isn't the sticker price, it's income. The 2025 U.S. Census American Community Survey puts El Paso's median household income at just $56,400, while the city's cost of living has climbed 13% in 5 years. For many working families, that means more of their paycheck disappearing just to keep the lights on. The Texas Affordability Index 2025 shows El Paso's affordability score dropping below 110, its lowest point in more than a decade. A single adult now needs roughly $66,000 a year to live comfortably in the city, according to the Houston Chronicle's 2025 cost of living analysis. That's nearly 17% higher than the same benchmark in 2020. Renters, once insulated from Texas's runaway costs, are now feeling the squeeze. The apartment list El Paso Rent Report on June 2025 lists median one-bedroom rent at $1,087, up 8% year over year, and two bedrooms at $1,256. Local advocacy group El Pasoans Fighting Hunger's 2025 affordability brief found that nearly 41% of renter households are now cost-burdened, spending more than a third of their income on housing. The human toll is showing. The Opportunity Center for the Homeless 2025 annual count reported 1,342 people experiencing homelessness across El Paso County, a 14% increase from 2024. Their report points to rising rents and the end of pandemic-era assistance as the tipping point for working families. In El Paso, the story isn't about luxury homes or investment buyers. It's about survival. Teachers, warehouse employees, and city workers who once lived comfortably now find themselves choosing between gas and groceries. The border that once separated Texas from Mexico is now symbolic of something else: a dividing line between affordability and the lack of it. El Paso hasn't lost its grit, but its margins are shrinking. Even in the state's most affordable metro, the middle class is fighting just to hold the line. Number 7. Corpus Christi, Texas. Corpus Christi once sold itself on the promise of balance: ocean breezes, family neighborhoods, and affordable homes by the Gulf. But in 2025, that balance is slipping away, replaced by a new reality where the cost of coastal living is catching up with everyone. According to the Texas A&M Real Estate Center's 2025 Coastal Housing Market Report, the median home price in Corpus Christi reached $289,500, up nearly 10% from 2024 and 33% since 2020. The U.S. Census Bureau's 2025 American Community Survey shows median household income at just $63,800, meaning the typical home now costs more than 4.5 times what the average family earns in a year. A ratio experts say marks the threshold of unaffordability. The pressure doesn't stop at housing. The Texas Department of Insurance's 2025 Coastal Risk Brief reports that property insurance premiums along the Gulf Coast have risen an average of 46% since 2023, with some Corpus homeowners facing hikes of 60% or more due to back-to-back hurricane seasons and updated FEMA flood zone maps. Flood insurance, once a $500 line item, now exceeds $2,200 annually for many homeowners in Nueces County. Renters aren't spared either. The apartment list Corpus Christi Rent Report on July 2025 lists median one-bedroom rent at $1,207 and two bedrooms at $1,472, both record highs for the city. Local affordability advocates from the Coastal Bend Housing Coalition's 2025 annual report warn that rents are rising faster than incomes for the sixth consecutive year. calling it a simmering displacement crisis. And for those who can't keep up, the results are increasingly visible. The Homeless Issues Partnership's 2025 point-in-time count recorded 982 people experiencing homelessness in Nueces County, up 22% from 2024. Their report cites storm damage, eviction filings, and rising insurance premiums as key factors driving the increase. Corpus Christi's postcard image still glows at sunset. Sailboats, fishing piers, pastel neighborhoods along the bay. But beneath the calm, the cost of staying is rising like the tide. Coastal living hasn't lost its beauty. It's just becoming unaffordable to enjoy. In Corpus Christi, the middle class is learning what coastal homeowners across America already know. The view is stunning, but the price never stops climbing. Number 8. Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock has long been the picture of stability, steady jobs, affordable homes, and a slower pace of life far removed from the boom and bust chaos of Austin or Houston. But in 2025, even here, the numbers tell a story of quiet erosion. The heartland is starting to strain. According to the Texas A&M Real Estate Center's 2025 West Texas Housing Review, the median home price in Lubbock climbed to $246,300, up 7% from 2024 and nearly 30% higher than in 2019. The U.S. Census Bureau's 2025 American Community Survey places median household income at $59,200, meaning housing affordability is slipping into dangerous territory. A home that once cost 3 times the median income now costs more than 4, a gap that's widening every year. The Lubbock Economic Development Alliance's 2025 Affordability Report warns that the city's historic affordability advantage is eroding at a faster pace than any point since 2008. One major reason: inflation and insurance. The Texas Department of Insurance 2025 Cost Index shows homeowners' premiums in Lubbock up 29% year over year, driven by a record season of hail damage across West Texas. Renters are also caught in the squeeze. The Apartment List Lubbock Rent Report in August 2025 puts median one-bedroom rent at $1,067 and 2 bedrooms at $1,272, both all-time highs for the city. That's a 24% increase since 2021, while local wages rose only 8% in the same period. The Lubbock Continuum of Care's 2025 Homelessness Summary recorded 521 people experiencing homelessness across the metro area, up 16% year over year, with the majority citing eviction or unaffordable rent as the primary reason. Even basic living costs are rising. The Council for Community and Economic Research's 2025 Cost of Living Index ranks Lubbock at 94.7. Its highest in more than a decade, meaning the city is now nearly on par with national averages, a dramatic shift for a region once celebrated for affordability. Lubbock's story isn't one of crisis overnight. It's one of gradual pressure, the slow tightening of a system where wages no longer stretch far enough and where cheap Texas living has quietly faded into memory. The heartland isn't collapsing all at once. It's eroding in silence. One rent hike, one insurance bill, one paycheck at a time. Across Texas, the numbers tell a story bigger than any one city. From Austin's unaffordable skyline to El Paso's shrinking margins, 2025 has exposed a truth the nation can't ignore. The middle class isn't slipping, it's sinking. According to the Echo Analytics 2025 Affordability Index, Texas, once the model of opportunity, now ranks among the top 5 states for cost of living growth outpacing wage growth. Incomes have risen just 4.7% since 2020, while housing costs have soared more than 41% statewide, based on data from the Texas A&M Real Estate Center's 2025 Market Overview and the National Low Income Housing Coalition's 2025 Out of Reach Report. now lists Texas as one of the worst states for renters, with workers needing to earn $28.38 an hour, over $59,000 a year, to afford a modest two-bedroom home. That math doesn't add up anymore. Not for teachers in Fort Worth, not for nurses in Houston, not for warehouse workers in El Paso. The Texas dream, once defined by space, stability, and possibility, is being erased by a cost structure that punishes effort and rewards speculation. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's 2025 report on emerging homelessness estimates over 52,000 Texans are now without stable housing, a 13% increase year over year, the fastest climb since the Great Recession. The same report calls Texas the most significant early indicator of middle-class displacement in the nation. And that's the warning. Because what's happening in Texas isn't isolated, it's predictive. It shows what happens when housing stops being shelter and becomes a commodity. When insurance, rent, and property taxes rise faster than wages. When the system that built the American dream starts turning it into debt. Texas isn't just another housing crisis. It's America's mirror. From coastal Corpus to inland Lubbock, the pattern is repeating. The cost of living is outpacing the cost of survival. And if a state built on space, growth, and affordability can break under that pressure, anywhere can. The middle class isn't collapsing overnight. It's eroding in plain sight. And unless the equation changes, wages, policy, and housing supply, the rest of the nation will follow the same road Texas is already driving down. Because if the Lone Star State can't hold the line, who will?
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, and share to help others stay informed. And don't forget to visit EstateScope on YouTube for the full video and more real estate insights.